You see hands 16 of 28, 254, 2 touchdowns, but the figure on the right is the one that makes you cringe.
Yeah, pretty good numbers except for that one.
Safety valve. Riddle turns it upfield, cuts it back into the middle, has the first down and runs over his own man. Riddle cuts it forward. He may have another first down. Yes, he does. Now the official.
That same thing again.
Going to go for the end zone. He's got a man there, and pass interference is going to be called. Vaughn had gotten behind the defensive back.
Charles Rose, Ron.
Just ate him up. Went right over the top of him.
And the back out of the backfield. They're having success throwing to him.
Kitchens steps up into the pocket, pumps it. He'll run inside the 10, and he's down to the 9. Brumbaugh makes the tackle. 102 down to 101. Alabama has no timeouts left.
And one of their touchdowns early in the ball game, they hit Michael Vaughn on a quick slant pattern.
47 down to 46. 2nd and 1. Pass right over the middle. Hits him in the hands. Dropped it. Then did he catch it? Can't tell. They're going to say yes. It is 1st and goal, Alabama.
A lot of credit making the second catch.
Clock is rolled back in. Down to 37. Down to 36. 10th play of the drive. Swings out the pass and thrown too low for Riddle. It is 2nd down and goal. Kitchens swings it out to Riddle. At the 5. He will score! With the attempt. Gets a good pass, kick is up. Alabama on top by 1.
Ron, Freddie Kitchens, they moved the running back to the wide side of the field now. Dennis Riddle is going to flare out to the outside, and that's what I said. When you get him the ball outside, now you can't overrun him. Ricky Neal just overran the play. Now you get the ball in your best back's hands in the open field. It was a good call by Gene Stallings and Woody McCorvey. He gets the touchdown. Ron, I want to say one thing here as you see Gene Stallings. I'll tell you, credit Freddie Kitchens. Now, he threw 3 interceptions, but he was able to bring his club back on the key drive. Midline time.
Swings it out, has it complete to Williams, gets out of bounds at the 41. 2 seconds showing on the clock. Guard line. Looks like a kickoff return. Damian Craig, everything he's got. And it is knocked away by Alabama.
Great game. Is this it for you, Coach? He's out here, Jay.
So, Gene Stallings heads to the locker room. Almost an improbable finish, Mike, the way they had stuttered and stammered on offense. You can look at the Auburn faithful as this young man right here. They can't believe it because they had closed the door on this Alabama football team offensively, but the last gasp was good enough.
Ron, I guess that's what makes this rivalry one of the best. The great effort that was given by both these teams tonight. They laid it all out in this football field, both these teams.
Again, we repeat the question. We're going to try to ask Gene, but he was Too excited to get onto the locker room. Is it his final game to coach the regular season here at the University of Alabama? We'll find out, I'm sure, in the next few days. Once again, our final score, Alabama 24, Auburn 23. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now let's join Mike Tirico for the Residents in College Football Scoreboard.
You guys and the guys in the truck, guys and gals in the truck, great job. Felt like we were there. Wasn't that a great game? And this, you can say so many things negative about college sports, and some of them are true, but you can't take away what you just saw. What an incredible game. And Rivalry weekend, Rivalry Saturdays, once again, lived up to advanced billing and gone far beyond. We welcome you to the Residents in College. Need again to appreciate the tremendous catch in the middle of four defenders. Same drive Plummer, looking topside for Poole. Another terrific grab for the touchdown. The Sun Devils roll. They complete a perfect regular season at 11-0. They win 56-14.
The schedule that we had is a real tribute to our team, and I'm very proud of them.
And what was special about closing it out against a rival like this in Tucson?
Arizona is a fine football team and a great program, and to beat them here at home, I think is really significant for our team. We came down here really ready to play, and they did a nice job.
Were you aware of Ohio?
Title. Washington State tonight in the Palouse. A big early start for Washington. They were able to move the ball down the field effectively throughout the game. An emotional game all the way around. Corey Dillon set a record tonight. Corey Dillon scored 3 touchdowns in this game. 22 on the season. Ties O.J. Simpson and Marcus Allen for the most touchdowns by a Pac-10 running back. It was 24-0, but Washington found their 24-0 lead get down to 24-17. Dillon had to come out of the game with a hamstring injury. Under 2 minutes left, Ryan Leaf to Michael Black, tied at 24. We go to overtime. They came back from down 24, but Washington gets the first score of overtime. Jerome Pathon on the catch of the Damon Heward pass. Last chance for the Cougars. Pushed back to 4th down from their own 23. Leap to Chad Carpenter, who made the spectacular catch, but correctly called out of bounds. As you see right there. And Washington and Jim Lambright finished their season at 9-2 with the loss to Arizona State on the opening weekend and the dismantling in South Bend. They beat Washington State 31-24, sent it to overtime after an exchange of field goals. In the second overtime, first play, Skip Hicks somehow gets through. The Trojan would-be tacklers. Touchdown, UCLA by 7. A last chance for Southern California. Matt Kofler, the backup quarterback, is in. UCLA gets some pressure on him. He has to put one up. Anthony Cobbs is there to come up with the interception. Never took a knee, never heard a whistle, but the game was over for the 6th straight time. And 4 in a row with John Robinson in his second tenure at USC. USC is beaten by UCLA. This is a devastating loss. The Trojans will not go to a bowl. UCLA will not go to a bowl, but certainly makes Bob Toledo's end of his first season as UCLA coach quite special. Kansas to take on Kansas State. First quarter, no score. Another running back got some yards taken care of today. Mike Lawrence for Kansas State. Here, a touchdown put his team up early. He had a school record 252 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now Davis, and on this run, he breaks the 2,000-yard mark for the 2nd consecutive season. That's never happened in major college football. A touchdown and a guy who must get Heisman consideration. Got a flag there, but certainly got everyone's attention. Kansas State beats Iowa State by the score of 35-20 in the game. K-State's 4th straight 9-win season. Texas Tech beaten for these two guys. First time ever, 2 guys over 2,000.
Rivalries. You have to have sympathy for John Cooper. Guy, sure, he makes $300,000, but it's absolutely brutal that they lost that game. You have to have sympathy for Cooper, but I have to say the Ohio State fans are never going to forgive him for this. 2 years in a row, and that's what happens when you lose to Michigan. The fans don't forget in Ohio.
Meanwhile, the Rose Bowl once again denied 2 undefeated teams. It's now 67 years, and another trend. We wouldn't have 3 undefeated teams in the regular season.
Well, the last time that happened was in 1954, and the 3 teams played 29 games. It's very unlikely, Chris, we are going to have 3 teams at the end of the season with perfect records. The teams now play 11 games, 12 games, 13 games in some cases, and it's going to be very difficult. The Bowl Alliance is going to work despite all the criticism. And a couple weeks ago, everybody was making fun of it. Now it looks like it could work. It could work.
But it'll still be very...
Tracy Bacon connects with Mike Zappa. 49 yards. It's 21-20. Buffalo State with a chance to tie it, but they miss it wide left. Rowan recovers a late fumble to seal it. The Pros advance to the Division III semifinals, 21-20 the final. Another playoff action today. The surprise team of the year, Osiris and White, jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Chris Orlando to Ron Floyd, right in your living room, but Lycoming stormed back. Scored 16 straight points. Steve Hill with a short run for the touchdown as Lycoming ends a dream season for Osiris. 31-24. Here's
Cox. Yeah, it sounded like basketball. The way they were scoring, it felt like basketball. 34-17. Back comes Clemson. 2 touchdowns. They make it 34-31, but the freshman Mike Patchett can't make the field goal. South Carolina hangs on. The road team has won the last 6 in that series. Kentucky and Tennessee. Peyton Manning, Peerless Price. 80-yard touchdown. The beer barrel stayed in Knoxville. 56-10, Volunteers roll. Peyton Manning played well despite the knee injury from last week. North Carolina at Duke. Storyline here, Chris Keldorf out with a fractured ankle. Happened during the game. The all-time NC single-season touchdown pass record Keldorf set this year. Oscar Davenport came in, played well. 80-yard touchdown pass to L.C. Stevens. The Tar Heels ring the victory bell on Tobacco Road by 17. And our favorite, maybe our favorite highlight of the year, Northwest Louisiana. Stephen F. Austin, 6 seconds left. Stephen F. trying to come back, throw it up, down 7. The Hail Mary doesn't work. And Chief Caddo, a 7-foot, 300-plus-pound Wood Indian, goes back to Northwest Louisiana as they win by 7. Over on the deuce right now, Iowa. This game was tied at 17, but the Hawkeyes have scored the last 16 to take the lead. Indiana with a huge win, snapping the big game losing streak in the final game for Bill Mallory. Really is late to bowl week. Mississippi State, Georgia, Maryland with their
justice. And now, since the Big 12, no longer a Southwest Conference, the WAC should be in the Bowl Alliance, and you still have one wild card team a year. I just think it's wrong that BYU isn't playing in one of the big games this year. I'm sorry, Chris, I really can't hear you. Those fans are crazy.
It's loud here. We can't hear ourselves, Bino. All right, thanks a lot.
You know, BYU may deserve a chance because of the way they played this year, but again, the thing that hurts them, as coaches mentioned, is the TVs. They don't bring a big TV, and also they haven't beaten anybody. That's big.
You're still in love with BYU. Wow, what a day in college football. Carm Koz's final game at Yale, Lou Holtz's final home game. Gene Stallings announces his retirement. The Buckeyes go down.
Arizona State. This is it.
And Bedlam and this is off. And a guy who attended 2 big games. Mike, it didn't get much better than this. Let's go back to you in the studio.
Roll Tide.
Tell Fowler I can't hear him even. My goodness.
Serving right now is Caroline Stoyer for the Cougars. And she's got him on a roll. Just barely got that one over the net, and the Lobos unable to return it. Making a dive for his Paula Feathers, but unable to come up with a good pass. And BYU's got 5 straight points.
Jay, BYU jumped back into the top 25 this week after being out since the 3rd week in the season. And I think that shows that other coaches around the nation are starting to notice that BYU is playing great volleyball.
Nice save for the Lobos' Jenny Podley. To set. Goes in the middle of Amy, and Amy just dinks it over the top.
You see by the look on their faces that you know it was a busted play. That was not pretty at all, but somehow it worked.
By the Lobos.
The completions just has not been able to pick up the yardage here that he needs.
You're absolutely
second down.
Yep. They've had trouble on first downs. They've hit some big plays early on, but they have struggled in the second half.
Second down and 10, maybe trying to pick up too much in a hurry, and has cost them control of the football. Nelson on the reception, and he'll take it up to the 43-yard line. That's Greg Nelson. Kerry Cooks again moved up on the hit. Nelson has a couple of TDs receiving this season. So he looks out and watches the clock with 9:13 left to go for Jim Wacker, the head coach. Has not beaten Iowa in the last 3 tries. He's 26 years total as head coach in college football, and 5 of them spent here. in the Twin Cities. 19-yard gain. He says this is it. It's not just for here. He's done. And move on and do something else. Sutter again, 5 receivers. Atwell makes the reception. It'll be enough for a first down.
Michigan, the Ohio State Buckeyes could not take care of business Saturday and had their undefeated season and any national title hopes squashed by the Wolverines 13-9. Brian Greasy hit Ty Street on this slick pass, catch, and run covering 69 yards. Coach John Cooper's Buckeyes bow for the 7th time in 9 tries.
Our kickoff returns today, although I think we're second, maybe second in the country going in, our kickoff returns are awful. We start the ball off the first time we get it on the 5-yard line.
Lou Holtz appeared in his final home game. His Fighting Irish delivered an early knockout to Rutgers, 62-0 the final. Quarterback Ron Paulus threw 4 touchdown passes to give him a school record total of 42, and for Coach Lou Holtz, his 100th at football heaven.
Today, I went down there with one thought, just gratitude, thankful. Tremendous gratitude to the people at Notre Dame, to the students, but particularly the coaches and athletes, but gratitude to everybody that's played a role in my life. I look up at the lady on the dome and go down to the grotto and look up at God and say, I think I left it clean. I think I left it clean.
Quite a day for Peyton Manning and the Tennessee Volunteers as they ran roughshod over exiting Bill Curry's Kentucky Wildcats. Peerless Price caught a pair of Peyton pellets, an 80-yarder and a 59-yarder in Tennessee's 56-10 triumph. Troy Davis can etch his name into the history books. He gained 225 yards in a 35-20 loss to Kansas State. Davis becomes the first player ever to rush for over 2,000 yards in 2 consecutive seasons. Other results, Florida State and Arizona State, huge winners. In the Wiggity Whack, BYU a victor. Lions roar. Hokies poke West Virginia. Tide rolls. Afterwards, Gene Stallings announces his resignation. Duke loses again. Washington an overtime winner against Washington State. The Qs over Temple. South Carolina upsets Clemson. Miami rolls past Boston College.
State. As Sun Devil coach, he was
wearing a 70s uniform retro thing, no bell bottoms. There's Iverson, the answer. Sixers up 2. He just took over the game in the 3rd quarter and kept it going, whirling past 2 Knicks, hitting the floater. Philly up 4 after 3. To the 4th, more of Iverson. He misses it, but Mark Davis is there with a follow. Can we have another look, please? It's so good, especially for Sixer fans. An 11-2 run for Philly. Iverson on D, swatting John Starks' J. Iverson finished with 26 points, 9 assists, and 9 boards, and the learning experience does continue for Coach Van Gundy. So Iverson missed.
Gail Johnson, the player of the year in the Mountain Division.
That's right. Gail was the WAC Mountain Division Player of the Year. And Gail, how does it feel right now? You've clinched the Mountain Division Championship.
Well, it always feels great when you win the WAC, especially because we didn't win it last year. So it felt pretty good to redeem ourselves this year.
I know tonight was very much okay. Well, thanks very much, Gail.
Thank you very much, Holly.
Congratulations on the championship and the WAC Player of the Year. Let's go up to Jay now for some final thoughts.
Okay, Holly, thank you very much. And what a fine young lady. Outstanding volleyball player, and she's getting a round of applause down there from the crowd. She's not only an outstanding young lady, but just an outstanding player. And I think that Holly...
Jay, we're trying to bat the cycle here. Now we're going for the Freshman of the Year in the WAC, Annalena Smith. And coming into this season, it was a rough start, but did you ever imagine it would turn out so great for you this year?
I knew that our team was really good, and it just would take time for us to get it together, and so I knew we had the possibility.
Very well this year. They also have a reputation through the years. They have hosted some early NCAA matches, and there's a good chance a first or second round match could be here this year in the first part of December. The first round would be December the 4th, and the second round would be December 7th. The announcement on this will be December 1st on Fox Sports. So there's always that possibility the way BYU's playing.
That's one of the nice things about the women's NCAA tournament in volleyball is they reward good teams. So if your team comes out and does very well, they will reward you with the ability to host the tournament. Then the next weekend, going into the regional finals, then they let the top seeds also host that. So, you know, it's nice for fans who come out and support volleyball all year long, and then they're able to be rewarded with some of the tournament matches there. You can see, look at that, Final 8 for BYU, and they did, in fact, make it to the Final 4 just a few years ago when Gail Johnson was just a freshman.
Well, they have, it is not unprecedented. They have hosted tournaments right here. They have the facility, they have the team, they have the capability, so that would be a good possibility, and that's always exciting to have a team come in at that level. So
there it is. 1993 they went on to the Final Four, and they lost in a close match to Penn State. And I think in that particular case, BYU was just so thrilled to be into the Final Four and so excited to be there. They didn't play as well as they could have that year. But I think that if they were able to go far enough this year, I really think BYU could be a Final Four team right now, Jay. I know that's going out on a limb a little bit to say, but I've seen a lot of teams this year, including #1 Hawaii. I've done a few of their matches, and I think BYU can play with anybody in the country. Like Elaine said, when they have the right circumstances and have a good night, they could play with anybody.
Well, the year that they went to the Final Four, you know, I think one of the big wins for them that year is when they went down to UCLA and beat UCLA there, which helped them get into the Final Four. So they
that's right, and it was on their home court. It was the first time in history that UCLA had been defeated in a regional final, or regional semifinal. So BYU, I mean, it was a huge victory, a real history-making match for the Cougars. And I see that same type of momentum and that same type of team this year, Jay. That's why we're very excited.
Well, they've got the confidence, they've got the enthusiasm, they've got the record right now, and they are really on a roll. 20 consecutive wins. It's just unbelievable.
Well, I think the thing that's nice about the team right now is how they're playing together. You know, we said it before, but they started out so tough at the beginning of the season, and they just weren't firing. All of them weren't playing on the same page. But the last, I don't know, probably 2 months since the San Diego State match that went to 5 games. That was their last 5-game match, and they've just been on fire ever since.
And you know, Holly, it's not like they're playing nobody. Early in the year, they lost to some of the best teams in the country. The team we saw here tonight, New Mexico, is a very, very good team. San Diego State's a good team. Utah is a good team. There are some good teams around that they're competing with.
That's right. The WAC right now, 16 teams. It's a very strong volleyball league. So let's see, the WAC may get 5, even 6 bids to the NCAA tournament.
Okay, well, tonight, right here at the Smith Fieldhouse on the campus of Brigham Young University, the Cougars from BYU beat the Lobos of New Mexico in 3 straight, 15-8, 15-8, and 15-9. This has been a presentation of the Blue and White Sports Network. I'm Jay Monson. For myself and Holly Rowe, good night.